Lovely people, Dwayne, Nathan, Jack. Yes, he's back with another one. And this time we are going to be deep diving into the science, the physics of meditation. Wow. And remember, I discovered this stuff before YouTube, all this social media with all this information. I've been doing this for quite some time now. We're talking 15 years where I discovered the power behind meditation. I was in my prison cell. And let me give you a bit of a backstory to why I implemented this good stuff. I've always been hyperactive, as you can tell. I've always had a lot of energy. I've always been impulsive, not so much now because I've managed my man, so I'm able to manage my man and not be so impulsive and to be conscious and be the observer of what's going on in here. So I used to go to the gym. I used to have a temper behind me and very kind of obviously violent in my previous world. And when I'd go gym, I remember I'd come back from the gym and I'd be on the phone and I'd look up and I'd say, "What are you looking at, bruv?" And I'd be like offering people out. I was like a mess. I was very impulsive. And I found myself picking up on the pattern. So every time I had fight and flight in me when I came back from gym, I'd be very switchy, impulsive. So then I started, as soon as I got like on the way to gym, because some of us, we could be going through the gym door. There's loads of like from like 13 to like 16, 17 stone guys like trying to get through the door, through the gate to get to the equipment in the sports hall. When the officer opens up the gate, we're like bloody animals. And then I say to myself, nah. As I've started to become more conscious, I would stay behind. So I'd let them just go through the gate and then I'd just walk in consciously. And then on the way back after gym, I would go back home. I'd go back to my cell and then I would meditate because I'd had to bring my arousal levels down. Because my arousal levels, I was in fight and flight, dopamine, endorphin. I'd act on impulse. So then I started. As soon as I come back, I'd go back to my cell and I would meditate, do some breathing, bring my arousal levels from fast to down to become nothingness. Now I'm not in my head. Now I'm not impulsive. Now I'm conscious. Now I'm conscious that this body is my slave and not the other way around. Me being a slave to the body. No, the body is my slave. So now I'm able to make the right choices and decisions. However, I started practicing meditation over bang up between when they do their roll check, do their flap, say 12:15, officers would go, become quiet. Well, not all the time, I put my ear things in. And then I would be meditating. Bring all the energy up, A, B, and C. Sometimes, depending on the meditation that I would do. And sometimes I would just go, I would drift off. If my mind was all too noisy, I would have to count down from 100. I'll count down from 100. If I messed up at 74 and then messed up, then I'll start again until I came down to 0. And by the time I came to 0, I would probably be very peaceful and become conscious. And all of the, I forgot to do this, do that to get up to, because the body wants you to be a slave and it wants to do things. I forgot to do the email, I forgot to do this, or whatever it may be, what's going on. So to be able to sit down and discipline this body and actually sit still. And it says in the amazing book, be still for the presence. So becoming still is power, sitting in power, laying in power. So over the years, I was meditating. As I started meditating, then certain things started happening to me. I would have synchronicities, that's for another video, where people call coincidences. Books were turning up. These magical, mystical experiences were happening. The more I meditated, the more calm I was, the more I was operating from consciousness, rather being, rather than doing and forcing. And the benefits, it keeps your youth, it keeps you humble, it enables you to fire new neurons that wire together, fire together, and your cells within your body, and the miracles that can happen, because there's different kind of meditations as well. You can just sit in nothingness. When you sit in nothingness, that's just becoming pure nothingness. You can then drift. Do you know when you go to drift off, you're not sleeping and you're not awake. You're in between. This is the brain wave, the doorway to your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is the program. I'm not going to go into it now, that you can install new software. So if you intentionally go in this brainwave, in this doorway, and be using your visualization, imagination of what you want to experience within your world, then you continuously do that, frequently do that, creating the vibrational frequency, then life will provide you with a circumstance, a situation, an event. So that's an intentional creation, manifestation way of meditating. Then you've got, obviously, countdown, become the nothingness, where you're not using your visualization, imagination. You can in that period, but then sometimes I'll be sitting there in the chair, and then I'll be going like this, look. Like you're falling off because that is the spot. Now, I used to do this within my prison. I got out and it becomes so addictive, even within hostel, even within the workplace. When people are in the office, they're talking loads of nonsense and they're not switching off. I would go, when I was a gardener for the banker, once upon a time, you have to be a yes man before you become a boss man. I wouldn't be with all the labourers and stuff. I'd take myself at the back of his garden, big, massive garden, and I'd take my shoes and socks off, place them in the ground, and I'd meditate, facing the sun, the light, listening to the birds, the bees, and the trees. It's next level. But you'd have to discipline yourself. You'd have to take yourself away from the program and all the noise and the doing to then be. It's actually disciplining this body and making the body do what you know what's best for you and best for life, for longevity, and the power, the insight and consciousness. I'm hungry for the power. I'm hungry for the power. Are you with me? So, the moral of the story is, there's different ways of meditating. There's different things you can do, but it's scientifically proven that this is powerful. And how do you think I managed to get into the prison, get the contracts, get invitation to the Swan Envoy, and all these things, all these miracles that one would have said wasn't possible? So let me break it down to you. Your heart, you've got your heart there. There's your heart. Now the impulses is when you're moving. When you're moving and you're doing, there's an impulse. Your heart's beating faster, yeah? You're in fight and flight, so you're not very conscious because you're in survival mode. But the minute you bring this down, and you bring it down, down, down from 2. Now you've become nothingness. You have to become nothingness to become everything. It's the consciousness that moves the planet, the earth, and all that's in. And the more conscious we become, the more super conscious we become, the more abilities we have to create realities beyond what the logical mind and what we've been taught at school, college, university. We're able to do and achieve and create all possibilities. Remember, you're a powerful, infinite being. And we are more than this physical realm. So by sitting, I call it sitting in power, then you're able, remember, as you bring that down, and your brain, and when this is in coherence, your brain and your heart are in coherence. So your thoughts, your feelings and emotions are fired up with the same intention that's creating a vibration. As you connect here, then you become a powerhouse of creation. However, when you're cut off from here, and you're all in your head, fight and flight, you're only operating from survival. You're making the wrong choices, decisions, and actions. Then you're cutting the life force off of compassion, of feeling, of putting yourself in other people's shoes, because you've got so much stimulation from doing, making it happen, execute, rah, rah, rah. Then you've got contributing factors of substances. So you've got cocaine stimulation. Yeah, that's why people lose their mind. Then you've got caffeine. It's cutting us off from the coherence. The nervous system is basically tensed up rather than being loose and fluid, a channel of energy where the heart and brain is working in coherence. So the more we can be and bring it together, the more powerful we become and the more creators we become, because we're now operating from the life force. That is your heart. Is there? And then you've got, whoops, sorry, I spelled it wrong. That's why kids, make sure you go to school. Heart, you've got. Then you've got, let me press it up. Heart, then you've got art, because the heart is the art of life. Then you've got, that's how you know I never went to school, but it don't matter. Ear. Focus on your strengths rather than your weaknesses. Don't worry about the weaknesses, yeah? The strengths outweigh the weaknesses. But I'm usually better than that anyway. So then you've got heart. What's your heart? Is the art of life, because it creates, it's an art. It creates your life, it creates your realities, it creates your possibilities. circumstances, situation and events through the vibrational frequency, but that's for another video. Then you've got ear. You've got to listen from your heart. Different kind of listening. It's not like words. It's listening to the vibrational frequency that comes from other people. You're a transmitter and a receiver. So you can hear by being, you can hear what that person's saying to you. Not what they're saying their lip service, because you know the lips lie, falsehood. They say one thing but mean the other. But you're able to read what they mean. The heart. Yeah? Then you've got ear, we listen, and then we hear. All in heart. Heart, where the art of creation, the ear is to hear. And when the life force here is in alignment with this, you are a life force. When this is cut off, you are the walking dead. We are. So that's why meditation is key, because you're bringing down the stimulation of the matter of doing, because it doesn't matter, and you're going into mind. Yes, you're becoming conscious. And that's where the power, what moves everything that you can see, taste and touch around you, is all from the unseen to the seen. There you go. That's why you should be focusing on meditation, so it can change your life and you can be the life force. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had another one. Great insights. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. And what you should be doing on a daily basis, discipline this body, let the body be the slave, and